What's up, guys? Welcome back. Hope you've been well. This week's episode is what is a key principle? Really, do you need a key principle in your deal? I'm feeling this week's going to be a little shorter. The subject's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, so might be a little bit shorter video than what we're used to, but that's okay. We'll answer the question. So what is a key principle? What is a key principle? Do you need a key principle? And when we're talking about key principle, we're talking about in the context of a real estate syndication, and really the context is you're dealing with the lender, and the lender is saying you need a KP, you need a key principle. What does that mean? If you want to find out, stay tuned, keep watching. I'm going to answer those questions. First, welcome to the channel if you're new. My name is John Nia. I am one of the founding partners here at Trowbridge Law Group. And although I'm an attorney, I'm not your attorney. So please don't take any of this as legal advice. If you want legal advice, go to our website, trowbridgelawgroup.com. You can schedule a free consultation with either myself or my partner, Gene. Give us a call. You could hire us as your attorney, and I'll give you all the legal advice you can handle. But for the purposes of these videos, this is just for education purposes, really. We're just trying to educate people on real estate syndications in every aspect, all the different aspects of doing a real estate syndication. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, leave us a comment. Happy to engage with you guys out there. So, back to the question at hand. What is a key principle? What is a KP? And do you need a KP? Do you need a key principle for your deal? Basically, a key principle is a loan guarantor, someone that is key to the deal, a principal member of the deal that needs to probably sign on the loan for one reason or another. That's it. Basically, if you're the deal sponsor, if you're the syndicator, you are by definition a key principal because you're signing on the loan, usually. Even if the loan is non-recourse against you personally, you're still signing on the loan. You're still a key principal in the eyes of the lender. The question is, do you need to bring in other key principals? Is the lender requiring you to bring in other people into the deal along with you for whatever the reason may be? Well, what are those reasons? It depends. It depends on the situation, it depends on the deal, it depends on the lender. But generally speaking, there are three main reasons why a lender would need you to bring in another key principal, another KP. And those three reasons are, number one, experience. So if you are a first-time syndicator, if you've never syndicated a deal before, say for example you're doing a deal for a multifamily property, an apartment complex. You've never invested in an apartment complex before, you've never bought an apartment complex before, you've never raised money for an apartment complex before. Generally speaking, the lender is not going to like that. They don't want someone who's new to this world because that's just more risk that you're gonna fail, you're gonna default on the loan, and the lender's gonna lose money, right? So they'll need you probably to bring someone in that has experience, that has done multifamily deals before, that has maybe syndicated multifamily before. So that is reason number one, experience. You lack the experience to run this deal yourself. So the lender is going to need you to go out and get a KP that has experience to help you with the deal. If that's the case, generally speaking, they're probably going to want that KP to have some sort of control over their deal with you. So, whether that be they are a co-manager of the deal, or they could be within the manager entity with you. Depends how they're going to want to structure it, but generally speaking, they're going to need that KP to have some sort of power, some sort of control over the deal. And it makes sense, right? They're coming in for their experience, so obviously the lender's going to want them to have the power to exercise their experience. So that's reason number one, experience. Reason number two is creditworthiness, right? So, I mean, that makes sense. Anytime you're getting a loan, your credit is important for the lender's underwriting process. So if you're the sponsor and your credit is not good enough for their underwriting criteria, obviously the lender is probably going to go and ask you to bring someone else into the deal that does have better credit, to bring the average of everyone, all the sponsors, to bring their average credit score above whatever threshold that they require for their underwriting process. Pretty simple, right? That's reason two, creditworthiness. Reason number three is probably what we see most often for our clients that are doing multifamily deals, and that is liquidity. So generally speaking, when you're being underwritten by a lender for a multifamily property, they need to make sure that the sponsor's net worth collectively is greater than the outstanding loan balance or the loan that you're applying for. This generally speaking, each lender is a little bit different. They might have different criteria, and then there's different loan programs out there, right? So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, small business, small balance loans, all of those have different underwriting criteria. But generally speaking, your net worth has to be able to cover the loan amount. And if it doesn't, by yourself, you don't have enough net worth to cover it, then you got to go out and get a KP. You got to go find someone that has a net worth that can cover the balance of the loan. Do you know someone that has that? Do you know anyone in your network that has a large net worth that can help with that? Well, that's something you got to consider. That's something that you need to think of before you plan to do a syndication, right? Maybe you got to go out and network and find someone. And then an additional question you got to ask. Let's recap again. So the three reasons why you might need a KP. Number one, experience. So you don't have to experience yourself to do the deal, right? So you've never done this before. You got to bring in someone with experience. Number two, your credit is just not good enough for the lender's underwriting. So you got to bring in someone that could raise your overall credit worthiness up. And the third reason is liquidity. Your net worth alone isn't enough to cover the loan, so you got to bring in someone else to help with liquidity. So the last question you got to ask is, what do these KPs want for compensation, right? So if you bring in a KP for experience, for creditworthiness, for liquidity, the KP is signing on the loan. It might not be fully recourse against them, but they are still signing on the loan, and they are somewhat liable, or their liability is increasing, generally speaking. So they're going to obviously ask for compensation for that, right? What is that worth? What is their signature worth? And it depends, right? It's something that you have to negotiate with the KP, with the key principal. Some KPs just want a flat fee, maybe a percentage of the loan amount. Some KPs want rights to distributions, right? So share of the company, maybe some equity compensation. Maybe some KPs just want a percentage of cash flow, so like a fee. It depends, right? Each KP is a little different. Each deal is a little different. It's something you got to negotiate. So, that being said, this is all what things you need to think about when you're doing your deal, doing your first deal especially, right? Do you need a KP? Talk to your lender, first of all. Ask your lender, do I need to bring someone else into this deal, or is it sufficient for your underwriting purposes for me to be the sole sponsor? If they need a KP, if they need you to get a KP, then you got to go look through your database and find someone that's willing to do it, and then negotiate with them their compensation. So, recap. KP is basically a loan guarantor, someone that signs on the loan, reasons why you would need one, experience, creditworthiness, liquidity, and then the last thing to consider is compensation. How are you going to pay the KP? That is it. I thought it'd be a little short this week, but hey, I was able to stretch it out and give you hopefully a little bit more context to the question, right? So, that being said, if you have questions about your own deal, about whether you might need a KP for your deal, how to structure it, please give us a call. Go to trowbridgelawgroup.com, click on that consultation button at the top, and you can talk to me. I could be your attorney. I can give you legal advice. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. If you did, please give us a like below. Write a comment. Ask a question. That could be a totally new video just with your question, whatever comment you leave below. And don't forget to subscribe. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week.